All right, let's speak now with Victor Kipiani. He is the chair of Tbilisi-based think tank Geocase. Victor, good to have you on the program. Russia has warned NATO against sending troops to its border, but if Russia isn't showing willingness to engage in dialogue, what can be done to try to defuse the tensions?
Thank you for having me. Yes, this is indeed the largest deployment of troops since the annexation of Crimea, and therefore it sends a very worrisome signal. What are the real objectives for Russia's immersing the troops on the Russia-Ukraine border, and how far that operation could go? I tend to believe that more likely we're not to expect an all-out war. This is beyond, hopefully, Russia's intentions for obvious reasons, but objectives could be still very much limited, but not less meaningful. What we're witnessing, in my view, and based on various observations by international pundits, this is a type of cohesive diplomacy which Russia typically exercises vis-à-vis its neighbors. Of course, you know, there are certain rationales behind the Russian behavior. One is home-driven. We should admit that we should keep a note that the reputation, the political reputation for President Putin has went down significantly, and these are very precarious times when the rankings go down, because at this point the general Russia exercises widely expansionary policies. And it's also trying to send a message to the West that the former gray areas of the buffer zone still remain within the special influence of Russia, and by this deployment and by sending those messages, Russia trying to send a message that it still keeps a legitimacy in those buffer zones.
So if we're not looking at a potential full-blown military conflict, and this is about sending a message, possibly of intimidation to the West, what are the options for the West to diffuse these tensions? I mean, we're looking at sanctions. I mean, and what could that possibly mean? Wouldn't that further inflame the tensions between the Ukraine and Russia?
I'm afraid that the leverages on the West side are quite limited, and those leverages is something which, unfortunately, Russia got used to. Of course, I completely agree with you that sanctions could be the very fast reaction, and it depends on the how severe those sanctions would be. We should also keep in mind that when carrying on with the sanctions, the unity of the European Union and of its various members and of the United States is the very must requirement for achieving the efficiency of those sanctions. And various the disputes over the same Nord Stream pipeline, etc., should be given a proper assessment. That's one point. Another point, that exercising as much political pressure and giving a clear signal, clear message to those countries who are in the buffer zone and who are still fall under this so-called special influence of Russia, countries who tend to integrate formally with European Union and with Atlantic Alliance, those are Ukraine and Georgia in the first instance, should be given more logistical support and better political cover-up.
All right, we'll leave it there. Victor Kipiani in Tbilisi, thank you.